Today, I want to begin with round 25. The title of today's lesson is The True Nature of the Hell and Life of the Residents There. The hell is not the place where the residents are tortured due to their bad activities, but it is the simple place where the residents live together. The different thing from the heaven is that their mind is full of various bad consciousness, and the persons are full of hatred, dislike, fight, a liar, conspiration, desire to rule other persons, etc. As they always fight together, they cannot have a moment of peace, and hell has only dim light and is full of various bad smell. The hell is composed of 3 levels like the heaven, and the lowest level has the most evil persons, and therefore this place can be called the literally hell itself. Well, let's begin with the face of the hell. First, what is the hell? In the preliminary spiritual world, there are passages to the heaven and hell. When one goes on and on toward the hell through the passage, the light becomes weaker and weaker, and finally he reaches the hell. The knowledge of the common people concerning the hell is that there's any hot sulfur fire, as horrible, gases, piercing with 3 needle spears, 삼지창, 3 needled spears, 삼지창. However, the real face of the hell is quite different from this. The hell is a natural place where human beings get together and lead a life. It has all the things like houses, streets, trees, mountains, etc. But the main characteristic of the hell is that all of the things look so grotesque that it is nearly impossible to look at them directly. And all the places of the hell are filled with nose-piercing bad smell. The hell has 3 stories like the heaven. These 3 worlds of the hell are surrounded with dark fog, just like the deep swamp. And the lower the hell is, the more horrible its characteristic becomes. For more and more evil souls live in the lower story of the hell. The hell has lots of groups too, and each one is different from other groups. Therefore, if I tell about the common thing in all of the groups, it may be the fact that all the groups are filled with vileness, that is wickedness, as well as evil souls. Furthermore, all of the groups are full of hatred, contempt, revenge, and fighting in this area. Some part of the hell has only garbage and dung, and sometimes there are only the rooms of sexual activity. And there is a place which gives an impression of a place that has some fire accidents which stopped burning in the middle of it. The alarming fact of the hell is that all the faces of the residents are quite different from those of the present world. For in the hell, the residents discard all the hypocrite element and they resume the original face of their mind. Therefore, their faces turn into some grotesque shapes at last. The next theme is life in the hell. The punishment of the hell does not come from the God's will, but from the character of a soul. Not characteristic, but character of a soul. And so, all of the agony comes from one's own character and mind. The souls in the hell feel happy when they rule or maltreat others, and when they force others to sacrifice themselves for them. As a result, there is always fighting, and the lower story one goes down, the crueler and more wicked the characteristic of the hell becomes, and it is hard to have the peaceful mind there. The lowest hell is the very dreadful hell, which nearly all of the religions describe. The next theme is what sort of person goes to the hell. The person who goes to the hell is the one who does not open the eyes of spirit and who cannot endure the bright light of the heaven. In other words, the one who goes to the hell goes there not by any force, but by his or her own will. As those who do not open the eyes of the spiritual world contain all of the persons who committed evil deeds in the secular real life, going to the hell looks just the same as most of the religions advocate outwardly and consequently. However, the real reason is that they do not go there in accordance with their karma of the present world, but they cannot help going there because they cannot endure the bright light due to the low level of their spirit. The one who goes to hell has been interested in the surface as well as in the sensuous pleasure, like the desire of sexual activity, ruling over the people, honor, political or administrative power, and who greatly contempts the true spiritual things. And as he or she does not open his eyes to the spiritual things, he goes to the hell, which is the most appropriate environment for him. And next, relationship between the heaven and hell. It can be explained with the relationship of the physical dynamics. In other words, if the power of A and B goes to the opposite direction with the same strength, A and B do not move but stay at the original points. This phenomenon is seen in the heaven and hell too. The powers are always under the competition not only to enlarge each district, but to destroy the opponent part, and as a result, there is an equilibrium between the two powers. Well, the next theme is present world and fourth dimensional afterworld. We have learned the various phases of the afterworld, and we have understood the fact that the afterworld, which is composed of the non-material as well as spiritual element, has both the similarity and difference from the present third dimensional world. It is not any new fact that men or women go to the afterworld after they die, but this fact is quite common in nearly all the religions on the earth. Only the difference is that most sources of religion do not explain the concrete face of the afterworld. The world of the fourth dimension does not exist in other places of the universe, but it is duplicated with the third dimensional present world. As we live in the third dimension, we cannot see it or feel it with our five senses, but it exists in reality. I'd like to have some logical inference afterwards. According to the explanation of Mr. Bakchano, our Earth residents on the Earth, among the various kinds of human beings in the universe, would live in the fifth dimensional world in the future. He says that after the great change of the Earth following the polar shift in 2012, the Earth would change into not the fourth dimension, but the fifth dimension. Why is it not the fourth dimension, but the fifth dimension? He explains that the fourth dimensional world is the spiritual world, made up of the heaven and the hell, as we usually know. This spiritual world is not only one in the space of the universe, but it exists in the nearby space around every planet where the human race resides. Therefore, the world after the year 2012 will become the fifth dimensional world, which is one step higher than this sort of fourth-dimensional as well as non-material world. The reason is that the human being changes into the spiritual being, that is, the non-material man, and therefore the astral world around the earth will be discarded. As a matter of fact, the polar shift of the earth did not happen in 2012. However, the earth entered the phase in which there is no war anymore since 2013. That is, the year of the paradise on the earth, and the present time is the transitional period, 과도기 in Korean, 과도기, when the past third dimension and the future fifth dimension coexist. Let's read his explanation concretely. The earth is the planet which belongs to the third dimension when we consider it on the point of the dimensional classification. By the way, all of the channeling messages say that the earth will be enhanced to the fifth dimensional vibration. Then there may appear a question as to why will be enhanced to the fifth dimension, not the fourth dimension sequentially, as we hop over the fourth dimension. In short, it is said that we are in the course in which the fourth dimension will be destroyed in the future, in accordance with the plan of the heaven as well as the spiritual group. I will explain the meaning of this. The fourth dimensional world is the place where the spirits who leave the earth after death stay. In other words, this is what is called the spiritual world or the afterworld, where the spirits who left their bodies have to stay as they have to undergo the reincarnation cycle because of the various reasons. For they cannot enter the high dimension of light. The reason why this fourth dimensional world as the waiting place of the spirits has been maintained was that the earth itself has been the place of the reincarnation. As a matter of fact, the spirits who have been born on the earth have mostly been the spirits who could not escape from the reincarnation cycle, and therefore they had to wait for several tens or hundreds of years in this waiting place until the suitable time came so as to reincarnate on the earth as they received the body. However, in accordance with the scheduled plan of the dimensional enhancement of the earth, this sort of spiritual system will be changed completely in the future. In line with the occurrence that the earth will be enhanced as well as changed into the fifth dimension in the future, the spiritual world as the waiting place of the spirits will not be needed anymore. Therefore, the dimensional change of the earth has two important meanings as following. First, the end of the reincarnation cycle, in which the spirits are born on the earth repeatedly. And second, the shutdown or the dismantlement of the fourth dimensional spiritual world, which was managed around the earth. In addition to it, you have to acknowledge the fact that the spiritual world does not exist in a certain place in the universe far from the earth, but it exists around the earth at any rate. It is said that the spiritual world or the afterworld exists as a face which surrounds the earth containing the atmosphere belt. Therefore, the material world on the earth and the spiritual world coexist in the same space of the earth. And the difference is that of the vibration frequency. In short, The civilization of the fifth dimension is that of the light, which only the spirits who escape the reincarnation cycle can enter. Therefore, it can be said that it is the dimension in which the body and spirit are integrated, and it is distinctly different from the third or fourth dimensional world of the reincarnation, where the spiritual astral world and the material world are splitted, and where the human beings have to go around them repeatedly. In addition to it, the heaven in the meaning of the previous religious sense is no less than the fourth dimensional world as the dwelling place of the spirits, and the reincarnating spirits cannot escape this area at all. By the way, when the earth is enhanced to the fifth dimension, as this dimension is changed, what will be the future phase of the spirits who stay in the spiritual world and the spirits who live on the earth? As the astral or spiritual world is discarded, the spirits who are not suitable for or who cannot adapt themselves to the fifth dimensional vibration have to move to other planets in the universe as a matter of course. Furthermore, the spirits who move here and there on the earth with the shape of the ghosts as well as the spirits bound to the earth, and also the spirits who exist in other persons have to be cleaned in any way. Well, this is the contents of Mr. Bakchano's book 2012, The Great Change of the Earth's Dimension and the Heavenly Messages, 지구차원 대전환과 천상 메시지를 page 497 to 498. This book. Here, I could ascertain the hypothesis which I had thought of as I considered it as a question. That is, a fourth dimensional spiritual world exists around the planet, and there are quite a lot of spiritual or astral world in the universe. I feel greatly pleased, for I could add an additional enlightenment to the truth, and at the same time, I feel quite strange to have thought of this sort of the universal truth only for myself. According to the upper-mentioned book, there are the aliens who entered the sixth dimension, transcending the fifth dimension. And they say that the aliens are in the situation in which they understand that our universe is in the 12th dimension after they transcended the 11th dimension. By the way, as you know well, the date of December 21st, 2012 passed by without any great change. According to the upper-mentioned book, there are the aliens who entered the sixth dimension, transcending the fifth dimension, and they say that the aliens are in the situation in which they understand that our universe is in the 12th dimension after they transcended the 11th dimension. By the way, as you know well, the date of December 21st, 2012 passed by without any great change, as I said before. However, I do not say that the earth is not the same as that of the past times. And it is said that the present earth has entered the beginning step of the fifth dimension. However, I think that as the past third dimension and the future fifth dimension coexist, the fourth dimensional spiritual world around the earth exists with the same face as that of the past times without being discarded momentarily, not forever, momentarily. And also the reincarnation cycle continues the same way as before, momentarily. Then the earth will continue to be changed into the fifth dimension gradually, And when the earth is changed into the complete paradise of the earth, the fourth dimensional spiritual world is not necessary anymore. In the future, there will continue to be born many indigo children, crystal children, and rainbow children on the earth. It is expected that the global village will be changed into that with these children. I will get and show you the inference concerning the existence of the afterworld later.